The night has a way of softening everything it touches. The edges of the day blur, and the noise of the world fades into something gentler. Perhaps you've had a long day, full of tasks and thoughts and little moments you barely had time to notice. Or maybe you've been carrying a weight that lingers even when you want it to leave. Here, now, those things don't need your attention. They can wait outside the door of this moment. You are here, in a space where nothing presses against you. The air feels still, calm, almost hushed. If you listen closely, you might notice faint sounds in the distance, a car rolling by, a clock ticking softly, or the quiet rush of air moving in the room. Each sound is softened by the night until it feels more like part of a background song than something that calls you. You don't have to respond. You don't have to react. Let your body sink into where you are. Whether you're lying down or sitting comfortably, allow yourself to notice how the surface beneath you supports your weight. Every muscle can let go just a little more. Your shoulders can drop, your jaw can loosen, your hands can rest. Nothing is being asked of you. Nothing is required. Take a breath. Inhale gently, without forcing. Hold it for a moment, then release. Let the exhale fall away as if the air itself is carrying some of the day out of you. Another breath comes naturally, and another. Each one is slow, unhurried, steady. With every exhale, the body understands. It is time to rest, time to soften, time to let the mind wander freely. Imagine yourself outside under a night sky. The air is cool but not cold, crisp but kind. Above you, stars scatter across the darkness, their faint light older than memory. You don't need to count them. You don't need to know their names. Simply being beneath them is enough. They are silent companions, reminders that the universe stretches on, vast and gentle at once. There's no rush to move forward. The night isn't a race. It's a landscape, and you are simply standing at the edge of it, gazing into something endless. You may find your thoughts drifting, but let them drift the way clouds drift, without effort, without a need to hold them in place. Let them float until they dissolve into the quiet. Here, at the beginning of our journey, there is nothing to figure out, no puzzle to solve, only the sense that you are safe in the moment, safe in the night, safe in the vast calm that surrounds you. Tonight we'll wander into questions of infinity, of edges that may not be edges at all, but for now, you only need to know that you are not alone and that the journey begins gently, with rest. You might notice your thoughts drifting already. That is not only normal, it is welcome. In this space, you don't need to hold on tightly to every word or every idea. Think of this as background music for your mind. You can listen closely if you want, or you can let the sound wash over you while your awareness softens. Both choices are perfect. Both choices belong here. There is no right or wrong way to listen. Some people stay awake, following every line, curious about where the journey will lead. Others close their eyes halfway through, and soon their breathing deepens, their body heavier with rest. Both are part of the same path. Both are signs that the words are doing their work, not by keeping you alert, but by giving you permission to let go. If you feel yourself slipping into drowsiness, you don't have to fight it. You don't need to rewind or catch up. Nothing important will be missed, because this isn't about memorizing facts. This is about giving your mind a gentle thread to follow, so that the parts of you that crave answers can be soothed, while the rest of you finds peace in the quiet rhythm. Imagine yourself on a slow-moving river. The boat drifts forward, carried by the current. You don't have to steer. You don't even need to look ahead. The movement happens on its own, steady and sure. You can lie back, watch the stars above, and trust that the river will carry you where you need to go. That is how this moment works. You don't need to do anything but allow yourself to float. Some nights, the mind resists. It clings to questions. Am I sleeping yet? Why can't I switch off? What if I stay awake too long? If those thoughts appear, let them. They are not enemies. They are like leaves drifting past the edge of your vision. Notice them, then let them move on without needing to chase them down. Every second here is an invitation to rest. Every word is a reminder that slowing down is natural. If your eyes feel heavy, let them close. If your body feels heavy, let it sink deeper into where you rest. And if your mind wants to hover in that quiet space between waking and dreaming, that too is welcome. There is no grade at the end, no requirement to stay with every thought. This space is for you and you alone, in whatever way feels right. You are safe to drift, safe to wander, safe to let your mind slip into silence. Whether you sleep now or later doesn't matter. What matters is that you know. Here, you have permission. Permission to relax, permission to release, permission to be carried softly into rest. The tension has been simmering, tight, uneasy, just beneath the surface. But now something shifts. The officer leans in too close. Not just close, invading. His shadow falls across her face. His voice lowers, slower and heavier, like he's no longer asking questions but issuing warnings. Then it happens. A sudden, sharp movement. He slaps the chair beside her, its metal legs scraping harshly against the floor. The sound cuts through the silence like a blade. She flinches, not from fear but from restraint. Her jaw tightens. Her fingers curl under the edge of the table. He blocks her exit, one arm pressed against the doorframe, eyes scanning her like she's already guilty. He's not yelling. That would almost be easier. He's calm. Too calm. A predator's calm. Controlled, methodical. And suddenly, everyone watching feels it at once. This isn't questioning anymore. This is intimidation. The line has been crossed. The room feels colder, still. The kind of stillness that always comes right before something breaks. The audience doesn't know what's coming, but they know it's close. They lean forward, some angry, some anxious, all unsettled. She hasn't moved. She hasn't said a word. But something in her expression changes, slight, subtle. Her gaze lifts, not submissively, not defiantly, but directly. Her breathing is steady now. She isn't flustered. She's choosing. The officer doesn't notice. He thinks he's winning. He thinks this moment belongs to him. But it doesn't. The power in the room is shifting, slowly but unmistakably. The audience senses it before they understand it. Like the moment before thunder when the wind dies down and every leaf holds its breath. This is that moment, the quiet before a storm, the wait before the crack, and now the story holds its breath with her. The door opens, quietly, no fanfare, no music, no sudden spotlight, just a man in black stepping into the frame like he's been here the whole time, waiting, watching. Steven Seagal doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. His presence shifts the temperature in the room. What was tense becomes still. What was fear now feels like focus. The air tightens, not with dread, but with the sense that justice has finally arrived. The officer doesn't notice him at first. He's too busy circling the girl, riding high on control. But the others see it. Their eyes flick toward the doorway, widening. Not in fear this time, but in recognition. Their posture straightens. Hope creeps in like dawn through the cracks. Seagal takes a single step forward. The sound of his boot meeting the floor is enough to turn heads. Calm, grounded, absolute. Now the officer sees him. He hesitates, but only for a second. His ego shields him from the warning signs. Maybe he thinks Seagal is just another suit, another observer. He doesn't understand yet. He doesn't feel the shift in the balance of the room. But the girl does. She hasn't even looked over yet. But her shoulders relax just slightly. She knows something's changed. This moment isn't loud. It isn't flashy. It's power without effort, confidence without words, and it says everything. Steven Seagal doesn't posture, he doesn't glare. He simply stands there, unmoving, certain. And somehow, without doing a thing, he becomes the gravity in the room. Everything else starts to orbit around him. A protector has arrived. And the game, whether the cop knows it or not, has just changed. The cop scoffs. You got a problem, old man? Steven Seagal doesn't blink. His voice, when it finally comes, is quiet, deliberate. You've already got one, he says. That's it. No shouting, no threats. Just 7 words, and the whole room shifts again. The officer's smirk falters just slightly. His eyes narrow, looking for weakness that isn't there. But Seagal is unreadable. Still, calm, like a storm that hasn't moved, but hasn't passed either. You're interfering with an investigation, the cop says, louder now, trying to reestablish dominance. You can't just walk in here. You already crossed the line when you forgot who you serve, Seagal replies. There's no anger in his tone, just disappointment, measured, unshakable. The words sting not because they're loud, but because they echo what everyone else in the room has felt but couldn't say. A quiet call-out that hits deeper than any fist. The officer shifts his weight. He's uncomfortable now, but trapped by his own pride. The silence stretches. No one dares to interrupt. The audience feels it too, that tension, that pause before something either breaks or bends. Steven steps closer, not threatening, just present. You think this badge makes you untouchable? He asks, voice steady. It makes you responsible. The crowd doesn't cheer, doesn't move, but inside something sharp clicks into place. A moral weight shifts back into balance. The cop looks down just for a moment, not out of shame, but uncertainty. His power is no longer absolute. That seed of doubt has been planted, and the man who planted it, he's still standing there, silent again, unmoving, waiting. The tension breaks all at once. The officer lunges, not with strategy, but frustration. A hand shoots forward, aiming for Steven's shoulder. A mistake, a fatal one in terms of pride. What happens next is a blur, one smooth pivot, a wrist twist, too fast to track. The cop's body folds in on itself, flipping hard over Steven's hip and slamming into the cold tile floor. The crowd collectively gasps, the sound sharp and involuntary like air being pulled from lungs. No wasted motion, no dramatic flourish, just control. Absolute and final. The officer groans, his face pressed against the ground, one arm pinned behind his back in a lock that speaks louder than any lecture. Are we done here? Steven asks, calm as ever. His knee doesn't grind. He's not cruel. But he is immovable. The arrogance in the room evaporates. What's left is clarity. The pregnant woman, who hasn't moved since the moment this all began, lets out a breath she's been holding too long. Her hand finds her stomach, as if reassuring the life inside that everything's finally okay. The cop, winded and wide-eyed, doesn't speak. He can't, not from pain, but from disbelief. Steven releases him, not out of mercy, but because the lesson has landed. The officer rolls to his side, dazed. The crowd stares. No one cheers. The moment is too heavy for noise, but inside every onlooker's chest, there's a rush of relief, a spark of satisfaction. Justice didn't yell, it didn't rant, it simply arrived, did what it came to do, and stood tall. Unshaken, silence hangs in the air, but it isn't peaceful. It's sharp, electric, heavy with judgment. The officer slowly rises, body trembling more from embarrassment than pain. His uniform, once pristine, now looks wrinkled and empty, like armor that no longer fits its wearer. He glances at the crowd, searching for support. He finds none. Eyes that once feared him now glare. Some narrow, others widen, but none look away. Steven doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. The weight of what just happened lingers louder than words. The cop stammers, trying to summon his voice, some excuse, a command, anything to restore a shred of control. Nothing comes. Only a soft cough from the back, someone shifting in their chair, a whisper of disbelief. Steven steps closer, not threatening, just present. And presence is enough. He looks the officer in the eyes, not with hate, but with deep, silent pity. That's what power really looks like, a man in the crowd murmurs. Someone else nods, someone else films. The humiliation becomes permanent. It's not just pain, it's exposure. The cop wasn't just beaten. He was revealed. Every ounce of bluster stripped away until only the truth remained. He was never in control. He walks out, not escorted, not dragged, just defeated. The crowd parts. No one pats him on the back. No one offers a hand. His boots squeak as he rushes toward the exit, the sound awkward, too human, too small. And when the door finally closes behind him, it's not with a slam, but with a quiet that seals everything in. Justice didn't just win. It humiliated arrogance, and everyone watching knew they'd witnessed something they wouldn't forget. Stephen turns quietly, the adrenaline gone from his face, replaced with gentle focus. He walks to his wife, still frozen where she stood during the chaos. Her eyes are wide, but the fear inside them begins to melt. Without a word, he places a hand on her shoulder and the other around her back. It's not showy, just grounding, real. She exhales finally, like she's been holding her breath for hours. He doesn't ask if she's okay, he knows. And she knows he's there now. She's safe. The crowd watches, transformed. Moments ago, it was on edge. Now it feels like something sacred has passed through. People nod to each other. A few clap, not loud but honest. Others just stand in silent awe, trying to understand how quickly everything changed. Someone picks up a fallen chair. A child leans into their mother's side. Normal begins to return, slowly and gently. The crowd watches, transformed. When arrogance targets the innocent, it will fall, and when strength arrives not to boast, but to protect, peace always follows. Sometimes arrogance arrives dressed as strength, loud, brash, full of false confidence. It pushes, it mocks, it demands to be seen. For a while, it may even seem unstoppable. But then, real strength steps in. Not loud, not rushed, not for show, not loud, not rushed, not for show. Stephen never needed to prove anything. His power was never about domination. It was about protection. His justice wasn't cruel. It was necessary. In a moment of silence, he reminded everyone watching that the strongest people don't raise their voices. They raise others up. The cop's voice echoed with control. Stephen's presence whispered with meaning. And now, the story has settled. The night breathes slower. The chaos has passed. What remains is balance. A message planted softly in the back of the mind. Dignity always outlasts arrogance. Truth always outshines bravado. Let that feeling stay with you. Calm, complete, grounded. The kind of peace that lingers even after the story ends. And maybe, just maybe, that's what you needed tonight. To feel that justice feels good. To know someone stood up. And to rest knowing the right side won.